are here for you. You are here for us. We are here together, Jared, and this is the Fest podcast.
Yes, it is.
You're right, my friend, and the boys from Light Jump are in the house again. Trace, Jacob, good to see you, fellas.
What's up, guys?
Sorry about the chair error today, but hey, we're gonna crush it. We're gonna crush it for you guys.
Right on.
Sound check it, Jared.
Yep. So we're going to do a little bit of our usual indie country fest, and then we're going to slide on into some festival news from around the world. We're trying our hardest.
Well, that'll be actually pretty good because we have been doing a couple updates and things on vaccine information and maybe one of your holiday concerts that you might be missing.
Yeah. What are we doing for our headliner?
Headliner was great.
Yeah,
it was really great.
We got Ralphie. We brought him back.
What was great about that is a lot of people know that he owns Indie Country Fest we do together.
Right.
And a lot of people might not know that he also owns Bruno's Pizza. They probably do.
At this point, they have to. I mean, we've only got Bruno's Pizza stuff everywhere.
But maybe they don't.
Right.
But the thing is a great story, and it was a great interview about pre-COVID, then COVID, and now in COVID.
Whatever we're at COVID.
In restaurant. What was interesting to me is the ups and downs of like, okay, we're closing. They had to shut down the dining room. And then it was
with
like
an hour to spare.
Yeah. Like what? Like, what do we do now?
Where do we go?
Yeah.
Nobody's gone through this ever before. How do you get there?
And then they go to 75% open and then 50 and then back down to 25.
And then we're right here, and it's a crazy world right now.
It was a great interview. It was really good. It was informative. It was a great one about restaurants.
Right.
You know, and what
it's a great one about small business and community too, right?
Oh yeah, that's local.
And then his top three,
that's one that you're going to have to really listen to and check it out because it's something about his own restaurant, and some people might want to know what some of his favorite things are, and that's what he's going to share.
And for Stage Left, we're talking a little bit about high school football and how I survived with my mom moving in last weekend.
No, that's not what it is on yours, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was pharmaceutical pickup.
Well, that's part of my mom moving in with me, isn't it?
How can they find us, these great people, Jared?
So you can find us on the Apple Podcast Network. You can find us on iHeartMedia, Spotify, and all your usual podcast sources. So go there, leave a review, and give us, 5 stars.
Hey, you all that are listening right now, jump over to our YouTube, which is the Fest Podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We are climbing slowly but surely.
Hit the notification.
Hit that notification. Hit that subscribe, because once we get to 100, we'll be giving away some cool stuff to all you first 100 subscribers. So make sure you jump on over to YouTube. You can see our new YouTube every single Friday on our YouTube channel that we drop them there. But hit that subscription button so you can track us on there. That's really good. We've been getting a lot of views lately.
All right.
It's really cool.
Get some stuff up there, some videos to watch.
All right, Jared, ND Country Fest updates brought to you by Lee Jerszewski with Alliance Real Estate. Find your keys with Lee. You all right, Jared? You all right, man?
You didn't start it. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, you want me to run an ad? What are we doing here, big boy?
No, that's at the end.
All right. So
ND Country Fest updates. Great things. What we want to talk about, what we have been talking about, especially during this holiday season, is about shopping local.
Right.
Shopping local, supporting those local restaurants, those local stores, because those are your community leaders, community businesses, and those are kind of the heartbeat and heart and soul of almost any downtown in a major metro area.
Right.
And then also the heartbeat of any small town. Right. You know, what you always have in those small towns are those cafes, the little grocery store, the gas station, the bar. I mean, the bar, you got to support.
There's always like a silver dollar bar, right?
Right. Something like that.
Something like that.
But, you want to support those and get it out there, because they obviously really appreciate everything that you can get at this point and supporting local. With that being said, most of the folks know, and maybe some
you are
don't.
local.
We are local. We are. ND Country Fest is an ND in North Dakota team.
So support us.
and owned, by myself from North Dakota, and
right.
then Ralphie, who's obviously from North Dakota too, and. What a lot of people may not know either, that we have about 20 other managers that work with us.
Oh, wow.
And about 80%, if not higher, about 80 to 85% of our team is originally or from North Dakota.
So it's hometown based.
A lot of people, that comments that we get and then I get out and about is like, oh, well, you guys are owned by XYZ media company. You guys are owned by XYZ. No, I don't, because then I'm working on, no, not at all. Because then you can't give that hometown feel. You can't give that home, because they say you need to do it this way. You need to do it that way. This is the way we're going to do it. And if not, well, they don't, sometimes there's different directions being
Right.
said. So there is some folks out there that think we are actually owned by a major media company, and we're not. We're actually locally owned and family operated.
2 guys,
2 guys and a bunch of family and great people.
right?
Yeah. So that's kind of the shop local type feel. And
So speaking of shop local, how'd the price increase go?
we did talk about that. Yeah. It went really well. So we always want to thank everybody who jumps on when we go and do those price increases. Thank you so much. It went exceptionally well, and especially at the time that we're in. So thank you so much for all the support and all you guys buying. There was a bunch of tickets that went out. There's a bunch of camping went out, a bunch of camp admission.
That's crazy. People are still buying and ready to go.
You know what? You know what really took a spike?
What?
In this price increase, not price wise, but in what sold
normally sold. Yeah.
like off, kind of abnormally
Yeah.
was
VIP.
well, no, that went out too, but that was on a normal curve, and same thing with GA
Right.
was your own portable toilet on your campsite.
I didn't
Yeah, like we sell.
So we've been talking about this for like 2.5, 3 years. I didn't know you
Well,
could have
there-
your own portable toilet.
Your own Porto. So you can rent your own Porto for the 3-4 nights, whatever you were at there for 4 nights straight on your campsite.
How much is that? Because I'm totally in.
So it's about, I want to say it's about $180.
$180 for 3 or 4 days, and it's mine.
Yeah, for 4
I
days.
can destroy it if I want, or I can keep
Well,
it nice
no, you
and
can't
prim and
destroy
proper.
it because then you got to pay for it.
Well,
and all that
I'm
stuff,
talking destroy it metaphorically.
But it has been, there was a 300% increase as
On
far as
Porto-
on Portos.
Really?
These last 30 days.
Have they always been on the list, or did you
always?
just add
Yeah.
them?
We've always rented them.
Did somebody just find them and decide, hey, I'm buying porta potty?
No, and we talked about that as a
Like,
group.
how did it happen?
We don't know all of a sudden. Well, people went and selected, I want my own porta potty for my campsite.
I didn't even know that was an option. We need
Yeah.
to be pushing that more. That's a huge option. Is it like $500 for my air conditioned one if I wanted it?
We don't have air conditioned portos.
No.
But that is interesting because on the other end we were talking about it, like why is that? Why did
it
seem-
happen there?
And what I came up with was like, okay, maybe these folks don't really want to share the other portos that we have. I mean, we have hundreds of portos, right? And they're cleaned on a cleaning
Well, and
schedule.
that's part
all
of
that
the
kind of stuff.
post-COVID world. It's going
Right.
to have to be clean all the time.
And we did that anyway. So really nothing changed in our world in that.
Right.
It was
But
clean.
maybe they just want their own.
Well, that's what I came up with. I'm like, maybe they don't want to share one with everybody else, so they just got their own. They want it there, and there they have it, which makes total sense.
So now you need to pitch it and raise the cost.
No, we'll keep it the same.
No?
and let it roll. So it was very interesting. But hey, there's still tickets out there at ndcountryfest.com. We'll look at that for all the updates. You can see us on Thirsty Thursday on Facebook Lives, where we do different scenes from different places around whether it's restaurants, whether it's at where we were just at a live tree. What do you call it?
Christmas tree farm?
Christmas tree farm last week. We're in Corvettes. We're in all over the place.
Crazy stuff.
So go to ND Country Fest Facebook page. You can check us out on there every Thirsty Thursday between 1 and 2 on
What are we going to do
Central.
this week? Any idea?
This week, I'm not quite sure yet. That has to be a surprise. So make sure you go and check that out, and you can watch all the old ones
see how it
from
goes.
there. Make sure you get the experience you want at ND Country Fest 2021. Go ahead and jump on and grab your VIP tickets. Those are going fast. Go ahead and get your VIP camping. Extra large campsites
Plus your
are getting
porta-potty.
tight. Plus your porta potty. Those might be getting pretty tight.
Are
as
those
well.
tight too?
Yeah, well, it can be really it can quickly because
So I need to buy now.
there's only so many. I want to say we rent probably 75% of all the porta potties in that area.
Right.
Otherwise, they got to come from like 300 miles away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
So we take them all.
That's a
Keep
lot
it
of
clean.
porta potty.
But go ahead and check that out at ndcountryfest.com. Go ahead and check us out on Facebook, on our Facebook Lives on Thirsty Thursday for all the updates and the good fun stuff going on. We do have price increases as it gets closer and closer. So you want to go and take advantage of what we got going on right now.
Get them now for your holiday needs.
They are great Christmas gifts.
Right?
And you know what? You deserve it.
You
And
deserve it. Buy it for yourself.
And you deserve it. Get yourself a VIP ticket because we're all going to be ready to party come July 2021. Let's hear more about Lee.
All right.
What sets me apart is I like to interact with my clients a little bit more, maybe just actually become more friends with them than just a client business relationship. I'd probably have to say it'd be Who Hut, just because I like the food, and my daughter absolutely loves it. I chose real estate because I like to help people, and it's fun, it's exciting, it can be stressful, but it's always good to just find a solution to a problem.
All right. We are pumping in, Jared, to festival news around the world.
Oh, it didn't even leave me any spot there. Huh?
And it's yours now.
It's mine. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about what we would have seen, or we're talking about vaccines. Where do you want to start?
Let's go vaccines first, and then what you would have seen.
Yeah, so it looks like they're dropping all over the place. So
London just had theirs.
Mexico.
Here, I didn't see the Mexico thing.
Yeah,
so where was that
at? Before I came in.
So like where at in Mexico? All over?
I'm assuming all over. I didn't really read the article. I just read the headline. Thanks for calling me out there, big boy.
You know what assuming does, Jared.
Yep. So I just thought it seems like it's dropping everywhere. And so...
and you read something, what? It's going to be in Arizona next week?
Maricopa County announced their... procedures. We're the second largest county in the U.S. So
did you read that one?
Yeah.
What is the procedure? Notice I asked you.
You did this time.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Frontline is going to be, the thing I looked at first is who's getting it first, and that's just going to be frontline med people.
So it's like nurses, doctors, right, all that stuff.
People over 65, and I kind of read that just with my mom's situation.
So did they say how long they get that access, and then when's the next wave?
I don't know. I don't even know if they know yet. So there's like 5 stages. There's like this circular thing, and where do you fit in, and where do you go? I'm assuming we should talk to Dr. Tolson soon and just find our way in.
I would bet that it's at a week at a time,
right?
Week intervals, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and it depends on how much they're going to give and how much Maricopa County got versus, North Dakota. Like, how much are they going to give North Dakota? Have you had it? Do you have the antibodies? I don't know. Like, it's.
You can't get it if you have the antibodies.
I don't know. Do you?
Shows you how much I've been paying attention to that.
I haven't paid any attention to it.
I just know it's happening sometime.
Right. And it's time to take it and get it done. So
that's interesting, right? So it is. It'll be interesting to see how quickly it gets dispersed. How long are the phases? Is it 1 week at a time? Is it 2 weeks?
I don't even think they know yet.
Is it? But they'll have to soon.
But it's crazy because it's a 2-shot method, right?
So when are you supposed to come back for the next one?
2 weeks. And then it has to be kept at extremely cold temperatures.
I heard there was one that didn't have to be.
Well, there's a whole bunch of other things that are out there, and they're different. I think I've read there's 3 different vaccines, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And so it just all depends on which one you go with and where it's at. But the one I've seen the most about is the 2-shot one. And from what I've heard, it's not that bad. Although I saw some.
It's not that bad. I got 2 of them.
Yeah, they asked the head of Pfizer, I think is who it was. Could you catch COVID from getting the shot? And if once you get it, will that spread to other people? He's like, I don't know.
Oh, you mean if you have it now, it's in your system. Now I'm talking to you with whatever.
So is that person now quarantined for the 14 weeks
because they got the shot?
It's like, I don't know. Like, we're all.
That's a good question, Jared.
We're all trying to figure this stuff out as we're moving along.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't have a medical degree.
And the reason we're talking about that is because last episode, you can jump back to that when we're talking about the vaccine, is that, large entertainment and large group gatherings obviously are hinging in the entertainment business. Really, really feels confident that come May, June, with the vaccine, with everything coming out, that our large events will happen. Obviously, there'll be some restrictions in certain things, but we'll be back together come maybe June for sure July.
Well, I think we're getting closer, right? Because and it's amazing how quickly a vaccine came out. Within a year. I guess Trump was right. I don't know, but I don't know if that's good to say or not good to say. But it came out before the end of the year,
right? And it did.
On the way over here, we were talking. We're like, "What are we going to talk about tonight?" There's no festival news from around the world. It's all been canceled, shut down, moved to 2021. So I'm like, I don't know, let's Google it up. And we Googled up an article that said, no outdoor music festivals for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're like,
I was like, no,
I've never seen that. We'd never seen that one before when we're searching. So I immediately like, that's not good. Start reading it. And I'm like, when was this out? And it's from May, right? So ideally, as we've gone over the last 6 months, 7-8 months, things are so fluid that we don't even know where we're at.
It's literally, how long have we been talking about this? It's day by day.
Probably
the whole thing, the whole situation.
What, Taiwan, I read the other day, shut their borders down because they're pretty. They fined some guy $100K for stepping outside his hotel room for 8 seconds in his quarantine.
Yikes.
And so they shut down December 31st and started watching flights from Wuhan, locking down the island, and they've been really good about that. So we probably started talking about that first week of January when I started
January 2020.
Those YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff. So
it's interesting. It's in daily, but I do know one thing. I do know one thing for sure. There's going to be a huge pent up demand to go party and go do something and be outside and hang out with your buddies and experience something other than your living room.
You think about it. This is
your cell phone
where bands get all that Christmas money, right? So they have all their Christmas shows, like every weekend or every night during December, there's always somebody coming through town, doing a show, playing a show. The Christmas shows, my favorite band, the one I want to go to the most, I think, if I could brave the cold, would be the Mighty Mighty Bosstones Hometown Throwdown in Boston. Right at Christmas, they do like 4 shows. It'd be amazing. And there's none of that, right? Yeah. None of those shows.
Last year at this time, we were looking to book. Was it last year at this time? Yeah, it was. Last year at this time, we already had booked, or we were looking at booking Diamond Rio. And guess what they were doing?
What were they doing?
The holiday show in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Right. So this is that time where bands make money.
Of course.
You can buy a good Christmas ticket for somebody. Mm-hmm. Who were we talking about last week? King and Country? Is that who it was?
I don't know if we talked about him, but yeah,
but
King
they were doing a drive-in show, and I'm like, I'll get tickets for Heather. That happened like in November 21st, so I was way late on that.
Right.
But that may be the only outdoor venue things you've got going on, and it just kind of stinks.
Well, and it's hard, like those drive-in deals. Right. You don't really know what that deal looks like for artists, right? Because there's not many people there,
and it's cold.
They're not,
everywhere but here. It's cold, right? And for us, it's cold. But
well, from the money to even the atmosphere to, man, was this even worth it?
Well, and the originator of that, or probably the guy who moved it the best, was Bert Kreischer, the Machine, because he's the first guy to go out on tour and do the drive-ins as the show. And he kind of opened up that whole market for the comedians, and they've been working it and doing it and going through it. But his whole act involves him taking off his shirt and doing his act, and he probably has more like my body than your body. And he's out there in December, November. He was out in Chicago doing a drive-in show, 32 degrees. And he's like, why did I do this with my act? Like, he's got these big old heaters going on.
Right.
But the comedians are about the only guys that are out there doing it right now. We were talking before the show, Andrew Santino, comedian, has a show this weekend down at Stand Up Live, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go down and see it because I really think he's funny. He went to ASU. He's got a good podcast called Whiskey Ginger because he's a ginger.
Right.
And if you've watched the show Little Dicky, he's on that show, and he's just really funny. He does a podcast with Bobby Lee, and I'm like, do I go down there and brave one of the 3 shows and see how it's going? Just because I want to see some live entertainment. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to find out if the current Mrs. Bennett, who is
you'll want to get out of the
calling
house
right now because she knows I'm not shooting a podcast.
Throw it to Jake.
Right.
Throw it to Jacob. He'll answer it.
Yeah.
But that's the truth is we all want to get out. We're all going to get out sooner than later. And that pent up energy and need for entertainment and live entertainment and experiences, I like to call it in the flesh, not virtually, that there's a huge need for it. And we'll talk about this on my stage left when we went to that football game this weekend. And it was that feeling. And you could tell those people were like so excited just to be outside watching the game.
I did buy my, Warner Brothers is releasing Wonder Woman 1984. They're going to stream it and put it in the movie theaters on Christmas Day. And I did buy my tickets for the theaters because I just want to go do the theater experience.
I bet it'll be packed. I bet people will want to be there. Packed to whatever the capacity.
Whatever the pact is nowadays. Sure. There's got to be a certain amount of seats between you and all that sort of stuff. But,
right.
All right.
There we have it. Festival news around the world.
ND Country Fest 2021 is coming back stronger and better than ever with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Little Texas, featuring Diamond Rio, Leroy Parnell, John Michael Montgomery, with more coming soon. Plan now to attend Dakota's largest and nation's fastest growing country music and camping festival, ndcountryfest.com.
Sponsored by Coors Light, Action Motorsports, New Vision Security, TransTrash, Smithworks, and American Family Insurance, DJ Coulter Agency.
Yes, Jared, we are old friending our way into our headliner this week, which is brought to you by Bruno's Pizza, $15.99. Any large. You can order yours today at brunosnd.com.
Nice.
Old friending what it is. Who do we have for our headliner today? We have Brandon Ralph of Bruno's Pizza. How's it going, buddy? You're looking good in there. You're looking good in there.
Nice hat.
Really brings out the blue eyes.
All right. The blue in your eyes.
So everybody knows that obviously you're a part of ND Country Fest, but mostly everybody knows that you own Bruno's Pizza. What we were talking about and bringing you on as a headliner today is about restauranteering in the time pre-COVID, during COVID, and during COVID again.
During the pandy.
Yep, the ups and downs, the sideways, the people, the mandates, the mask, no masks again. Then you're masking up again, and then there's all that stuff in between. But first, hey, give us and our listeners all your background of Bruno's. I mean, you bought it. Has it been 5 years now? I believe 6 years, going on 6.
I bought it in 2014.
Nice.
So it's going on 7, or we will be turning 7 soon. So the first couple years, it was definitely a learning experience. And then we expanded up to Minot, and that was a learning experience. We got in one of those trendy mall situations.
What's that?
There's a trendy mall in Minot?
Exactly.
Wow. Big time.
So we
the Minot Fashion Park.
We ended up getting out of that lease and just focusing on the store in Bismarck.
Because people don't go to malls anymore. Right?
They don't go to the malls. So that brings us to COVID. We shut the store down. We ended up kind of getting our legs underneath us after the shutdown, and then
so what was that like?
It's time for COVID.
So we literally just got off of the Your Town Tour 2020.
You guys are getting ready to go to Greeley, Colorado
to accept our award for Best Country Music Festival in the Midwest.
Don't you mean
and then we didn't go, and then you got the bad news of what, right? It came down on you. How did that all fold out for you in the restaurant?
In middle of March, on a Friday afternoon, and everyone's watching the press conferences from the governor and just kind of learning about that experience and how to track something day in and day out and look for new information and look for any kind of information to get you ahead or get you to understand it more so you can pass that information to your employees, because no one knew what was going on, or we'd never went through a shutdown before. So employees were like, do we have a job? Like, what's the plan? What are you going to
get
do?
Paid? Right? Are you still going to be around?
Yeah.
Can we still deliver pizza? Can people still come in? Because was it a Friday afternoon they announced you're completely shutting down? Is that, I don't remember. It seems like 10 years ago.
Right?
Yeah. Well, on Wednesday, there was kind of some hints that, okay, other states are going to this new shutdown, at least for the dining in area, or shut down all non-essential businesses. So where does that leave us? Like, is the food industry essential? Well, right. Of course, you ask me. Yeah, for sure. We're part of the food chain. Yeah. So, and in this day and age, more and more people are not eating at home, buying groceries and eating at home. Right. So they've relied on either going out or ordering in. We just, that Friday, we got the news. I kind of, in the back of my mind, had a process of what I would like to do. but I didn't really know the context of how the governor was going to lay out the mandate or the executive order. So we ended up getting that, kind of sitting there for the next hour and a half and go, we're supposed to be closing the dining room in like half an hour. So
Everybody
Lock
out.
the doors. Lock the doors.
So I talked to the employees. I hung the signage that at first I didn't make any signage. I just printed out the executive order because we didn't know how long. Was it going to be a week? Was it going to be
Right.
2 weeks? So we just hung that up on the front doors, and that's kind of how we handled it. And we kept the serving staff and hosts on staff just to meet people at the door to kind of educate them on what was going on, and then of course let them know we were still open for carry out and delivery. Well, on the other hand of that is suddenly the dining rooms closed all over the city, and people needed food.
Right.
So luckily we're a pizza joint and we've been doing delivery and carry out since they opened in 2010.
So
we ended up we're experienced, and we've always marketed to the delivery carry out sector, but we had a flood of orders for that first week. Like people
like, what's
just
going
take
on?
We're like, we're gonna be all right.
all the stuff that you knew about people's habits were balled up and threw in the trash.
Right.
We were getting more orders at 2 to 4 p.m. than we were at 11 to 1.
Oh,
Which, for someone that's been staffing the same way since they opened, the rushes are 11 to 1. So we would cut people thinking like, oh, hey, we're slow today. We would cut people.
Let them go.
2 to 4, we were just slammed, and it was like, okay, let's just be patient. We'll be overstaffed. We'll kind of make it through. We ended up asking all our servers and hosts, hey, could you answer phones or help take curbside, no contact carryouts?
right.
And it was just one of those things that, you keep learning as you go. And then, and we talked to a few other business owners, and it was just like, hey, have you went through any COVID testing yet? So we at Bruno's were fairly lucky with anyone being in close contact or anyone getting symptoms for the first 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
So
did you educate them right away on like saying, hey, make sure your or what did you tell them? How did you educate the staff on that? Because that's impressive, because it's been 11 months now.
Yeah.
Is that right? No. 9 probably.
March.
Yeah.
March,
April.
So we're
8.
we're creeping up
10
on
months.
it. Yeah, 10 months, 9-10 months.
Be almost a year.
Yeah.
We didn't know much either, except for right away it was temperature driven. Hey, if you have a fever, stay away from everyone. So we just educate, like any kind of, I'm not feeling good today. We told them stay home. We're overstaffed anyways. We'll be fine. We're not even going to question it. So that part was really, really good. And I think we also talked about employees making good decisions. Hey, when you're not at Bruno's, don't be going next door to a house party where you might get COVID. Or like, don't be socializing outside of work. And if who you're hanging around with is socializing outside of work, we definitely need you to kind of make better decisions. You don't hang out with them that night. We went into COVID going, hey, we might be shutting the doors for good in the next 2-3 months. So we went in the COVID with a really aggressive, positive attitude going, we're going to do everything we possibly can to stay open and make as much sales before we close the doors.
And you did. And I remember talking to you because you kind of almost did the opposite of what everybody else was thinking and doing. Because you even went like what you just said, like, we're going to crank this thing up. we're gonna get as many sales as we can, and we're just gonna basically swinging all the way, swinging all the way every day and going after it. And then you did more marketing, which a lot of people don't. They just shut down and be like, "Oh, I can't do the marketing because blah." Where you did the opposite. You're like, "I'm jumping into this, and we're blitzing the heck out of it."
It was a perfect storm. So we got done with the Your Town tour, and Bruno's Pizza. So I mark out my calendar to all the events. So the Your Town tour, I'm gone for a week, 10 days, and then I come back, and that from March until May, June, I focus on getting sales ramped up so I could leave in July for the 2 weeks of the festival.
Right.
So from March to June, my idea was to advertise, get business to come in. So we went into COVID going, hey, our plan was to advertise. We're advertising. So we threw everything at it, social media wise, traditional radio. It's been really successful, and I think the community is really, and we're local, and people with the reach out of, hey, we haven't been here since 2014 when you first took over the place. We don't want to see you guys close the doors, and for delivery and CSR tips like customer service representative.
Wow.
Yeah. So
acronym crazy.
The people that were taking care of Bruno's Pizza, there was a huge outpour of that. And
right.
I think our staff was really humbled by it because they weren't sure like where Bruno's was in the community. So I think they were just kind of getting our core beliefs and kind of who Bruno's is.
Who is Bruno's?
It's community driven. It's a local pizza place. We love to be a part of a lot of things in the community, at the amateur level, at the festival level, at little events to, silent auctions. We're always trying to be that community partner. Hey, Bruno's would love to be a part of this. They may give you a couple gift cards for the silent auction to being a major sponsor for a festival or
a podcast.
Podcast. Yeah.
Right.
So,
would you say during that time, because you've done this for so many years of being a part of the community, and he does, and I'm not just saying this because it's right. Bruno's, but it is like your baseball teams, your little league teams, you're this, this little small town, the Bismarck Mandan Chamber, or this and this, and you're constant, and you still are constantly everywhere. And then all of a sudden COVID hits. Because sometimes we don't, as business owners and things, and even just general business owners don't really like to emphasize the community because they don't really see the return on investment immediately. And you don't.
No, you have to put the time in. You have to go do other things. You have to go speak at the organizations. You have to donate.
You got to be a part of the community. Right.
You can't just show up one day and be like, hey, I'm part of the community. They have to actually know who you are.
And then COVID hits. And then would you say then you really realize like how important that was to the community, everything you had done in the past?
Yeah. And, the return on investment is part of the thing that you can't really measure because you don't know when it's coming to you.
Right.
So, there was a time a couple years in going into Bruno's, it's like, is it really worth being a part of these, sponsorships or, silent auctions? Are we just giving money away to give money away?
Right.
And after COVID, I would say 100%, it's 100% worth it.
Because you helped them in the past, and you feel that and they're like, Bruno's needs our help. It's tough. It's local business. We know Brandon. We know Ralphie. We've known him for years. He's been at all of our events. He sponsors this and helps this and puts in sweat equity, volunteering, and all that kind of stuff. And now you feel that the community was like, now he probably, or that Bruno's needs our help, so we need to support it too. Is that probably where it came back? Maybe?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we really needed it, we ended up getting it. So, going into COVID, it was one of those things where we didn't know, and no one knew. So it was really cool to see the community support us like that. So, and it's continued all through COVID, and then, the ups and downs of not even the first 5 months when we shut down the dining room to opening the dining room to 75%, and then going back down to 50%, then 25%.
Right.
It's just like, oh.
It's almost a daily changing thing, right? And it still is until who knows when.
I don't know. I mean, you guys just went into mask up, right?
The what?
Mask mandate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we did. And, we fought that for a long time. Well, Bruno's didn't fight it, but I felt the community was like, you know what? Mask, that's pushing it. Let's just not do it. But now, ever since we've had the mask mandate, we felt that we've had an insurgent of people coming into the dining room because their confidence of us being masked up and them being masked up and just being in a safer environment. We've seen an influx of people come into the dining room.
Interesting.
So we're still limited in the dining room, but I think customer confidence for that, at least for the first month, has been there. When, who knows, when no one was wearing masks, the people that truly believed in masks didn't have anywhere to go because
Nobody
they were
was
always
wearing them.
walking into people. Yeah, no one was wearing them. So it was their time to get out and feel safe and be a part of the community again. So it's been good in that sense.
And that's true, because it's like, a business that all of a sudden you feel the safety of it, because some people have different opinions on the whole thing, but all of a sudden I was like, okay, this restaurant, they go by mask, they do all these, they have all the safety things in place.
It's definitely, when you go out and you look around and you're like, oh, okay, where am I sitting? And if I have appropriate spaced out, I'm okay with it. Where am I going to stay? Are we going to eat inside? Are we going to eat outside on the patio? What are we doing?
Yeah, and you're one of those. You go frequently, to establishments.
I go out to lunch. I go out to dinner.
So what do you look at when all of a sudden you go into a restaurant for the first time?
Are they masked up?
The restaurant
whoever's
employees?
Working with me, the employees.
Yeah.
And then how close am I going to be to seats? And then I look for the seat furthest away, I suppose, like over in a corner by, away from people. And I don't know if that's like a COVID thing or a Jared thing, right? Because I probably would have done that anyway. Let's go in the corner and talk instead of being right up with everybody else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even think I notice it anymore, really. Other than if we were sitting at this table and you came and sat right here, that would be weird. Right.
Hey, buddy.
But maybe that's like if you came and sat at the pub table right now, that'd be weird, right?
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, it's a little further away, but if you sat right next to somebody, I think we've just all gotten used to having our space.
Mm-hmm. Like, if I didn't know you, that would be weird.
It's weird.
If I knew you, like if we were at the same place and you walked in and I'd be like, hey, Jared, how's it going?
Right.
And you sat like way over there, I'd be like,
that'd be weird. I'm just trying to get away from the laugh. I want to eat and quiet, But no, other than that, no, it's not that big a deal at this point.
Yeah.
It's not as bad here as like California where you have to take a bite and put your mask out.
Ralphie, anything on the future here for Bruno's or anything? Any new things coming along the way or anything you want to talk about in the restaurant?
One thing, I think we're looking into remodeling the dining room.
Are you serious?
We're a little slower in the dining room right now.
That's a good time to remodel,
right? Yeah. Especially if they lock us all down again. Get in there and remodel.
Yep. Right? Get in there and remodel. So it's been a long time since that dining room's seen any TLC.
Can you give the listeners a little bit of a little teaser or any thoughts, or is it still in the development stages of your
developmental?
Do you have the CAD program out and you're designing
like
yourself?
We started with a like blank canvas. So even with the structures that are in there right now, that it's kind of divided up into thirds.
Right.
We may open it up completely, or we might
More space.
take one section. We may take a section. If dining rooms are starting to slow down, we might take a section and do kids games.
Ooh.
A ball pit.
So-
don't
Will
say
they be
pizza.
able to win prizes, or is it more
we'll
like
try.
claw games?
You know, it might be claw games. It might be candy machines.
Ooh,
It might be like, you know,
pizza, Bruno's pizza swag.
Some, maybe. You never know.
Hey, Ralphie, who shot your video? Was that you?
It was myself. Half of it's kind of B-roll from me,
Right.
and then the other half was from Quantum Production.
Nice.
But I'm the one that chopped it up and put it together.
Yeah, you got
Well
that
done.
chop up skills.
Well done. So is the new
Yeah.
remodel, is that going to be more family style or any other, or are we still keeping it family?
It'll be family style. You know, it's always good to see those groups of grandparents and parents and, you know, the 2-3 grandkids running around and, you know, making those memories in our dining room. They're going to have that forever.
Yeah, that's very true.
I do have like a Pizza Hut memory of me being a kid. We'd have to drive to like Powell, Wyoming, and
100 miles.
that was like 50 to get pizza, and you get there and there'd be like the salad bar, and a Pac-Man machine. No, it was a Galaga, one of those. But I have them as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you remember them?
I did.
I think we all do. I was a Happy Joe's kid.
Happy Joe's, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had the cool duck game that was a big monitor and all that. And the pizza was terrible, in my opinion. But it was fun being
You know, I still want that turkey dinner pizza. That's all I think of.
well, next November, Jared.
Next November, we'll just have to go up a Your Town tour in November.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ralphie, congrats on the success you're having during the COVID. Congrats on keeping the team together and just keep moving forward. I mean, that's very impressive what you guys are doing there at Bruno's, and it's a day by day thing. But keep it up, man, and keep fighting the good fight. And thanks for joining us today. It's a really good conversation. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was
all
great.
These different,
Well,
businesses
we're in a
and-
weird spot, right? Because
It
like,
is.
are we back to March already, or are we just back to March because it was the holidays and everybody gets sick?
Oh, sure. But
The
hey,
end is coming. The end's
Well,
coming.
Well, you can't say that.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
Mr. Positivity here is going to yell at you later.
Hey, if you're interested, go ahead and check Bruno's out at brunosnd.com. There's many, many choices for all your kinds of nice, great pizzas. I like the Marauder. That's one of my favorites. Jared likes the
I want that
specialty
turkey
pizza of turkey dinner pizza.
I want that pizza, damn it.
Which is no longer available. But, check them out. That's in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you're traveling through Bismarck or through North Dakota, stop in Bismarck at Bruno's Pizza. Go ahead and say hi to Ralphie. Go ahead and check it out. Soon it's the new remodel coming eventually. So soon you'll see that. But if you want to order online and do that, that delivery or takeout, go to brunosnd.com. Thank you, Ralphie, my friend. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Brothers and sisters, I hear you asking yourself day after day, what am I gonna have for lunch? Do I want another burger? Do I need another taco? Brothers and sisters, may I introduce you to Bruno's Pizza. Pizza is the bread of endless possibilities. What can go on a pizza can go in a calzone wrap. Look beyond the pepperoni, 32 pizzas in a snack. If you like heat, try the Lava Hawaiian. Marauder Pizza is also kicking. You need Bruno's Pizza in your life. Let the humble Bruno's Pizza lift you up from your hunger and deliver you into the realm of satisfaction. East Front Avenue, online at brunosnd.com. Can I get a napkin?
All right, Ralphie. So it's your top three. Luke's hidden this one from me. We haven't even talked about it, so it's a mystery to me too.
Well, here we go. Well, what it is, it's we're jumping into Ralphie's top three, which is a great thing where we give him the topic, he gives us his top three
He's all up close.
of what it is, up close and personal. I like that shot right there.
That's kinda
Stay right
spooky.
there. Oh, he came out of it. He came out of
I
it.
can.
Ralphie, you're gonna like this one because we're keeping it in the theme of things. What are the top 3 things you love about Bruno's Pizza. Oh,
Money.
Okay.
Okay. But I think number 3 should be the voicemail.
I do.
Call it and figure it out. What's the number?
Right.
What is the number at Bruno's? People can call
701, 751 3700.
and figure
it's
out why
pretty good.
I like it.
All right.
What's that? It's decent.
I do
Is it your voice?
think we need to change it, I think, a little bit.
Oh,
It's really good. Just time sensitive stuff. Maybe
very
put
true.
we were closed on Thanksgiving, so we had a little issue. We didn't want to cut your voice off.
oh, so it was your voice. How did I know?
Hey, you know what's great?
Is it your voice and your laugh?
What's great is that people wanted Bruno's for Thanksgiving.
Right?
Yeah.
They
There we
wanted
go.
that turkey pizza dinner.
Number
They
3.
did.
That's probably
So number
Right?
3, okay, so
Is the voicemail
love
your
it.
number 3?
no.
Okay, so what's your number 3?
20.
20. Wow.
That's
And you did that voice work for free.
That cuts. I got.
And I'm being
100%. I got a
100%
pizza out of the deal.
Well, that's not bad.
discounted pizza.
Whoa. You got to choose.
number
Well
3.
done. Well done.
Small.
Well done.
All right, number 3.
So watching the employees grow. So we like to promote from within. So it's really cool to see someone come in that's, is it their first job? Is it their 5th restaurant job?
Like
Either
a high school
one,
kid or
it's-
somebody that has really bad habits because they came from somewhere
Yeah.
else. I got you.
What?
Right.
So
So
like you
Yeah.
worked at like a restaurant.
Dairy
and-
Queen.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. You stuck your finger
Yeah.
in the people's sodas. That was the grossest
Diet
thing I ever
Coke.
heard.
yeah,
Best way to get rid
we-
of bubbles.
we don't allow that.
Good.
So
It's a different time.
The growth of employees is definitely one, however you shape it, but it's really cool to see them develop into a really good employee and a better person of the community.
Wow.
All right, number 2.
I can see that.
Number 2 is being a part of the Bismarck community. I'm going to stay with the community.
You've
team.
known that is a really big deal and it helps everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool when an employee goes, man, we went to the Bismarck Bobcats this weekend and saw the Bruno's sign. Or we were in Mandan and we saw your Bruno's banner for the Mandan Marlins. There's all kinds of things that we're a part of that not everyone gets to see on a daily basis. So it's really cool for our employees to react, or, even the gratitude of those partnerships, to come back and be like, hey, we really appreciate you being a part of this. It's really helped out, and, see that growth of the community. So
You guys do really
We're
cool
all-
stuff at the amateur baseball too, like the giveaways. That's really cool.
yeah.
You do really like unique things that people remember. It's pretty
Like
pretty
what?
neat. Like the baseball, like the amateur baseball, isn't it like the coupon giveaway? Isn't it under the chair or something? Or maybe you did that a couple of years ago. But
Yeah, 2 years ago we did a secret envelope. So everyone
That's-
that attended the game got a secret envelope. They came into Bruno's. We opened it up for them. After they paid for the meal, they redeemed it. It could have been anywhere from a $200 gift card to meeting the president of the Twins. So,
Oh.
whoa,
like at a Twins game, and that was, we gave our prizes, and the Larks gave their prizes, and it ended up being a really, really good promotion.
yeah,
Nice.
it was cool. It was cool.
All right, we time for number 1.
Number 1, hit the button, Jared. Ralphie's number 1 thing that he loves the most about his very own Bruno's Pizza.
Hey, the product.
Ah,
Pizza,
that's a good
calzone,
answer.
wraps, desserts,
You look like you had a pizza or two.
Oh,
that's a
As someone
big
who's
joke,
had a
Jared.
pizza.
That's not nice. You bully.
You
You're
bully.
bully, Jared.
You
No.
can bully me about my pizza habits too.
Hey, whenever Jared goes in, make sure you charge him full price.
Full price.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Since you said the product, so then I'm sure everybody wants to know. You're the owner. You're the creator. All that kind of stuff there of Bruno's Pizza. What is your favorite pizza or product?
I
that you like to eat every
I think that has to be another top 3.
Nah, right now.
What's your number
You're
one
calling
favorite
right now?
slice?
What? It's like we'll go slice.
Oh, it's so tough.
No.
It's so
Come on,
tough.
what's the slice you always make?
Okay, I'll give you my answer like I give it to everyone.
No. We want the inside. Not everybody.
Do we need to call? What would your employees say your favorite slice is?
They probably don't
It
even.
would depend on the day.
No.
So
Okay, today.
Today, lava
Tuesday.
Hawaiian.
What is it?
I want a little lava Hawaiian.
What's
Is that
on
the
that?
special?
So it's a Hawaiian pizza, Canadian bacon, pineapple. You throw bacon on there, jalapenos, little sriracha drizzle.
Ooh,
So it's
spicy,
hot.
spicy.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot, and man, it's good.
That's
and
good
I'm
for a Tuesday.
A little thirsty today. So it's like that's kind of what I am today. I also like a 3-meat with barbecue sauce on it.
Huh?
So
Is that on the
barbecue
menu
sauce,
with barbecue sauce?
You make your own?
Is that kind of
Yeah.
like
A Ralphie special.
In-N-Out burger where you can say, give me an
Animal
animal
style.
size, animal style?
and you can do a build your own. So we have 34 specialty menu items, specialty pizzas or wraps, calzones, and people have came up with the weirdest stuff like spinach, artichoke, pineapple, pulled pork.
Yeah, that'd be a
With
weird
pesto sauce,
combination, right?
Yeah, so, but that's part of it. People try their own thing, and some of those combinations get interesting.
So we did ask for one, but we ended up getting 32.
Right? So what's your favorite thing about Bruno's?
About Bruno's
Yeah, is
or
that
the
the voicemail?
product? Oh, I'm a huge fan of the voice message.
voicemail?
Yeah, because that, I mean,
And since I don't
You
know
can't.
anything other than Ralphie, I guess my favorite thing about Bruno's is Ralphie.
oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, that,
Little
you
rah,
can't
rah,
beat
rah,
that. Can't
right?
beat that.
Until I have the Thanksgiving Day pizza, and then it'll be the pizza.
You're going to be thinking about that for
A
12
year,
more months
right?
straight. And you
We're-
better get one.
We'll have to do something in November so I can
We can
get one.
freeze it. Freeze it and
Hey,
send
I'm
it down.
gonna rant here real quick before you guys cut me off.
What are we
Whoa,
ranting
what-
about?
Yeah. This will be good.
Yeah,
So,
I've had to sneeze the entire time.
I'm sitting here watching all these podcasts, right, and watching all these headliners. I finally get to be on a headliner, and I think I nailed it.
Oh,
And
it was
then-
good.
No, he
then
didn't ask you the question.
The final question.
What would you be doing?
So
If
we'll
it
do
weren't
it
what I'd be
now.
doing.
That's you.
No,
If you could
no.
be, like how
Hey,
Jared always passed the
nope.
buck.
That's
Nothing's
not me.
ever my
That's
fault.
not me.
Nothing's ever my fault.
That's a
You
Luke
did
question.
it.
I'm
That's a
done.
you
Hey,
question.
hey, I
I'm
just
not
wanna-
answering it.
I'm
Everyone's going to be disappointed in you guys because I'm not answering the question.
Now you're
Hey,
just being a tease.
You guys just be thankful that I reminded Jared of the SD card.
That's true. Just be thankful we had a spare one in there.
Hey, let's do it right now.
All right, tell us.
No,
Oh.
no.
Ralphie, if you could be doing anything else other than country music, any type of festival, or
Making
owning
pizza.
restaurants or pizzerias, what would you be doing right now?
I'm not answering.
Oh,
Nothing?
he'd be
He'd
being
be
a
doing
tease.
nothing. He'd be doing nothing.
He's gone to the Luke Schaefer School of Teasing.
One more?
No,
We can
not
postscript
doing
this. You can edit it.
post.
Nope.
He's going to edit it into like this huge 20-minute thing. I'd be
You
doing
don't want to answer it, huh?
climbing Mount
I
Everest.
don't.
Okay, I know what it would be, so we'll jump that on when we kick Ralphie off.
Oh, we're going to make it up for him.
No, I have no idea what it would do. Yeah, I do.
Taking
I
a
do too.
nap?
I'm just gonna guess right now.
Okay.
Ralphie loves to travel, and he loves the golf.
Golf and travel.
Mm-hmm. And you like the travel to golf.
So like, come here right now.
He'd be in Arizona
Right?
on the golf course.
On the golf
Yeah.
course.
Mhm.
That's a
That'd
good
be my guess.
No, that's a good guess.
What what do you think your guess is?
Now you have to say, because Luke's going to have hurt feelings for the rest of the day.
I know.
Oh, is that what we're doing? If that's the
Hey.
gig.
No, I never got to answer it either. I was a headliner 3 times.
Those 3 cards we had
So
to
I
come up
was
with.
0 for 3. I don't want to
hadn't
hear
come
about
up with
0 for
the
1.
question yet. So,
Ralphie, always a pleasure. Maybe we'll get you next time on what you would be doing your other time spent. But hey, great top 3. Great headliner as well.
it was great.
Thanks, guys.
All right, here we go. Stage left. We're going to get the hell out of here shortly, Jared.
Yeah.
What did you do? What's going on from last weekend?
Well, picked up mom on Friday out of the acute rehab.
Your mom? Don't you mean your wife from the pharmacy?
No, I don't. I'm not sure I should have told you that. So she gets out of the rehab and they give me this huge long list of what you're going to do, what you got to take care of.
Yeah.
Here's the meds.
Yeah.
I've got to go to her pharmacy. I've got to pick up her list of meds after I get on my way home from work, because I took time off for lunch, picked her up, dropped her off with my wife, and then went back to work. So I go to her normal, regular pharmacy that she's been going at for, I don't know, 20 years maybe. And as I am waiting for it, they're like, "Oh, how's Donnie doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's doing fine. You know, she had a stroke." And so this lady looks at me and she's like, "Oh, are you her husband?" I just look at her and I'm like, man, that sucks for me. But my mom, that's awesome for her. And she's like, "She's your mom?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how old do you think I am?" She's like, "How old's your mom?" And I'm like, "She's 79. And the lady looks at me like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. How old are you?" And I'm like, 50. She's like, "That sucks for me." And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, don't. That's going to be content gold. I'm going to be telling everybody you said that." So, that was humorous. It was fun. It's a little weird, because we're a dual income, no kid family. We've never really had house guests or roommates.
Did you say, or roommates?
Or roommates. I mean,
you said you were more like roommates.
No. So we're not used to having someone at the house. And so we're all sort of adapting at this point. It's nice having my mom around.
But your mom has had her own space too, so.
Right. So yeah. And she's a lot like me. Like, I want to go outside, watch TV, be alone. My mom wants to go in her room.
She smokes cigars?
No, she does not. So I did get her a TV from Cyber Mondays sales, and I thought I got her a 65-inch TV.
You knew what you were getting.
I didn't. I bought the wrong one on accident.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, totally. It turned out to be a 75-inch.
How do you screw up a 60 to a 75?
Because I put them both in the cart, and then I deleted the wrong one.
So
I was looking at them both, and I was trying to figure out what to buy. I go to pick it up, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't fit it in this thing." And so I had to call my brother-in-law and be like, "Hey, buddy, can you come help me?" Get the TV home, and immediately the wife's not happy because it just takes up the entire wall of the room. But my mom's eyes when she came in and looked at it was like, "Ooh." Oh. So, she watched a lot of TV.
What does she watch?
Golden
Girls.
A lot of rom-com, which makes sense because I do too. And a lot of Christmas shows on whatever.
Hallmark?
Yeah, Hallmark or Netflix. So, my mom has been a little bit COVID crazy. She locked herself down pretty much the last 6, 7, 8 months. Hadn't done a lot. And, going into rehab and being around people and now being around us, I think it's really good for her. And it's probably good for us.
I think it's healthy for her all the way around.
It was crazy, dude.
Can't live in solitude. I mean, you can. I don't know if it's quite healthy.
So she came home on Friday, and on Monday, around 2:30, I get a picture of her sitting in a recliner asking me if she should buy this one. And I'm like, you're out and about? And one of her friends from church had come over and taken her out recliner shopping because she needed one. And so she went out and bought a recliner.
I bet it has to feel that she's comfortable because, not on her own choice, but she's out to go on her medical appointments, right? So she's out and about anyway.
Right.
Now she's a little bit more comfortable. And maybe, she knows the restrictions, what she can and what she can't do and all that kind of stuff. And now she's like, well, sweet.
Well, and
I'm gonna do a couple
she's
things.
around people and she needs to do things and she needs those things. And we're all sort of adapting. I'm not, like I said, I'm not used to being quiet after 9 o'clock.
Were you like, I'm never going to get your medical
Things again.
medications ever again.
Oh, Heather
I'm not
went.
going to your
Heather
pharmacy.
had to go pick some up today. I should have had her see if it was the same girl and say, I'm really his wife. And, he's married to me,
The
unfortunately.
lady would be like, oh, is that?
But it's been a change. But my wife Heather has done a really good job of kind of taking control of the situation and Excel spreadsheeting all the meds because there's so many meds and vitamins. She's been going to all the appointments to make sure that we're all in the loop because she has questions. My mom has questions. And then she's helping my mom pick out the clothes and everything she needs. So it's been good for all of us.
And your mom's doing good.
She's doing great.
That's the most important.
Way better.
Nice.
Like, it's not. Yeah, she's doing great.
Good.
So, she'll be
Moving
home for the
along
holidays, and then we got to figure out selling houses and places to stay and where to go. It's all sort of exciting stuff. So, not as exciting as going to football games, though. What'd you do?
No, myself, Van, and Reese, we went to the high school playoff game.
Ooh, how'd Reese like it?
She loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. She had a blast, and she was, she's an active kid too, so she liked all the action. There was a bunch of people there. A bunch of people, as in there probably should have been 3,000 if it was a normal.
Oh,
If it was a normal deal, but there was 900.
900?
Yep, 900, which is like
That's a good sized crowd.
both sides total.
So spaced out appropriately or not?
Yeah, they had little stickers on the the bleachers and stuff.
You've seen the stats in Arizona. We're a little bit crazy here. So
No, it wasn't what you think it was. I mean, it was really well controlled. They were making sure you had your mask on, and some people didn't have their mask on. They came up and said, "Hey, you need to put your mask on."
Really?
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna have to ask you to leave, which is fine. And that person was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." They took a sip of their pop, right?
Hey,
And then,
forget.
like, oops, all that kind of stuff. But we had a good time. It was a blast. It was that energy of being out in a group setting it was a high school playoff game. So it was a little bit better than your average high school football game. And it was good teams and people were getting so into it. I couldn't believe how big they were cheering in the crowds and all that kind of stuff going, ah, and even if it was just for a first down, not necessarily a touchdown.
No, but it's a live event. It's high school. It's football. It's Friday Night Lights, right?
And what really shows that people were jacked is that the concession stands sold out of stuff.
They're buying everything.
They're buying everything, getting everything. Some of the Booster Club does their 50-50 raffle at halftime. It was the biggest pot there was all year.
Well, of course.
All that kind of stuff.
They haven't had people there to buy stuff. And I hadn't even thought that's another indirect effect of COVID, right?
Well, right. They can't fundraise any money.
Right. Because nobody's there or half the crowd's not allowed to anymore.
You can't even sell a ticket.
Right.
But there they could. I mean, we had to buy them and stuff,
Right.
which we had no problem.
Oh, you
doing
had to
that.
actually buy it to get in, huh?
Yeah, everybody had to buy their tickets to get in and go from there. And they had, it was an app and all that kind of stuff. It was interesting. You get it and you selected in and out and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really? Did it ask you like the 12 questions? Have you been out of the country in the last 14 days?
No, but it did when you entered. They asked, "Hey, have you been sick? Are you feeling okay? Have you been in contact with anybody who ran a fever?"
Did they run your temperature when you went in?
Did they run it when they had? Yeah, they did.
They did. Was it the same old lady?
No, that was not her.
Not her.
No. But it was good. It was a good feeling. It was a good just being together with a big group of people, and it was a fun game. And we knew about like all the kids. The kids had a bunch of their teachers that were there, and it was like more sense of community. Their buddies were there, and they're kind of a sense of normalcy of going to a hometown football game, and the kids that go to school with each other, hanging out a little bit,
get to see each other. I was just trying to think of
senior teachers in the stands, all that.
900 people, that would have been like a normal football game in Cody, probably, right?
In North Dakota, when our rivalry games, we would hit close to 4,000 people.
Really?
Yeah, because there's nothing else going on, right?
Well, you're in Bismarck, right? So it's a bigger town.
Well, yeah, it's about 100,000 people, but yet at that time, there wasn't a huge following for the college.
Right.
So it was high school football through.
So it's kind of like Texas. So
yeah.
900 would have been like 1/5 of the entire town of Cody showing up. So
I remember playing in some of those games, man, and you look up and you score a touchdown or whatever, and it's just roaring.
Yeah.
And there's people all over the place.
Well, that's got to be cool.
It was pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, it was super cool. But
did you get on the field?
Cool. No, we couldn't get on the field this time around. But we did our duty and took the flags down and helped out and tear all that stuff down. And it was cold though too. It was down in the low 40s, high 30s.
It was a little chilly this weekend.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time. It was fun being out. It was fun going to that, high school playoff football game. It was good action, and it was just good.
There was
just being
all
out.
sorts of football here in town this weekend because, the Cardinals played.
Yeah.
And then
the Niners played.
The Niners played, and ASU finally played here too.
Yeah.
So they had all those. ASU looked sad and lost, but they played.
It's a sketchy year.
Oh, dude, it's a start. It started at 8:30 and went to midnight, 12:30.
I did not watch all.
And
I watched the third quarter, and then I was
quarter, and then it's I started thinking, if you're on the East Coast, man, it's
they're not watching those games.
The best live watch I ever went to was back when I was in Manhattan 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, for my buddy's wedding. And so we did the rehearsal dinner, and then we left to go to the Manhattan ASU live watch of the game. Started at 8:30 our time, and they had a full bar there that we shut it down at 4:30, 5 o'clock when the game was over.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Yikes.
And it was a ball. They had a guy dressed up as Sparky. It was fun.
Oh, that's cool. How can these fine people find us, Jared?
And the Apple Podcast Networks. You can find us on iTunes. Well, that would be iTunes, wouldn't it? You can also find us on iHeartMedia, Spotify, and all of your podcast sources. And then if you are, come on, leave us a review, like us, hit 5 stars, get us up into that algorithm so that we can be found by other people.
And if you do and you like the visuals, jump over to our YouTube channel at the Fest Podcast YouTube
You've got a good visual today. You got Hendrix.
Yeah, you like that?
And then I've got a little Christmassy.
Little potpourri Christmas going on there.
Tommy Bahama.
Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. Hit that subscriptions. We're climbing slowly but surely. You know what? If you believe that in 2021 we're going to have a blast together in large group settings, hit that subscriptions, because once this thing blows the top, we're going to have festival news like crazy of all kinds of things going on, and we'll be giving away a bunch of stuff. But make sure you hit that subscription button on that YouTube channel so you can get all the updates, and you can get in on our giveaways as well.
Ooh, giveaways.
Yeah. Hey, if you like what you're about to hear, these are our boys, the Quaker City Nighthawks with Queso Blanco. You know what? Here's to you. Here's to me. You know the rest. And we are